Hi there, and welcome back to English and Ease. I'm Emily, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. If you've ever felt nervous, shy, or unsure when speaking English, whether in public, at work, or even just in class, then this episode is for you. We're going to talk about something deeply important but often overlooked: how to speak English confidently, no matter where you are. And no, this isn't going to be about forcing yourself to sound like a native speaker or memorizing long word lists. It's going to be about something much more real, something inside you: confidence. But before we jump into the techniques and exercises, let's start with a little honesty. Let me ask you, have you ever wanted to say something in English, but your mind just froze? Have you ever avoided conversations because you were scared you'd mess up? Or maybe you've stayed silent in a meeting or a classroom, even though you knew the answer. You're not alone. In fact, most English learners, especially intermediate and even advanced learners, struggle with speaking confidence. And the reason isn't just about vocabulary or grammar, it's something deeper. And today, I want to help you uncover it and overcome it, step by step. So take a deep breath, maybe grab your favorite cup of tea or coffee, and let's take this journey together. Let's begin with the core question: why is speaking English confidently so difficult? You might think the answer is obvious. Maybe it's vocabulary, maybe it's grammar, maybe it's pronunciation. And yes, those are factors. But underneath them all, there's something bigger: fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, fear of not knowing enough, fear of freezing. These fears don't just slow down your speech, they shut down your willingness to even try. And I get it. I really do. Let me share something. I had a student once. Her name was Anna. She was from Brazil and had studied English for over 8 years. She knew grammar better than some native speakers. But when it came time to speak in meetings at her new job in Canada, she'd go completely silent. Why? Because every time she opened her mouth, her mind filled with questions like, am I saying this right? Do I sound silly? What if they don't understand me? And that's the first big idea I want to give you today. Confidence doesn't start with fluency. It starts with mindset. Even native speakers make mistakes. They forget words. They pause. They say, and but they keep going. And that's the difference. They believe they can communicate, even if it's not perfect. So here's a truth I want you to really remember. Perfection is not required to speak confidently. Progress is. If you're always waiting until you feel perfect, you'll never speak. Now, let's dig a little deeper into the 3 most common barriers to confidence. 1. Fear of making mistakes. This one is huge. We're taught from a young age that mistakes are bad. But in language learning, mistakes are data. Every error you make gives your brain information. It tells you what to adjust next time. That's not failure. That's feedback. And guess what? Native speakers make mistakes all the time. They say "goed" instead of "went." They forget how to spell. But no one laughs or stops them. Why? Because communication is about connection, not correctness. 2. Fear of being judged. Many learners imagine that people are laughing at their accent or thinking less of them because their English isn't perfect. But here's the truth. Most people are impressed that you're speaking a second language at all. They're not judging you. They're admiring your effort. And let's say someone does judge you. That says more about them than it does about you. It's not your job to impress everyone. It's your job to communicate. 3. Lack of vocabulary. This is another major one. You might think, if I just knew more words, I could speak better. But let me challenge that idea. You don't need a big vocabulary to speak clearly. You need the right vocabulary. Even with 100 common words, you can express nearly anything. Simplicity is your superpower. You don't need to say, I would like to inquire about your services. You can just say, can you tell me about your service? And trust me, native speakers do it all the time. Now let me tell you a story about someone who surprised herself. Her name was Layla. She was from Morocco and had been living in the UK for about 2 years. Every day she'd go to work and avoid talking to her colleagues. Not because she didn't understand them, but because she didn't believe in herself. One day, during lunch break, she noticed someone sitting alone and decided to try. Just one sentence. She said, "Is this seat free?" That was it. The other person smiled and said, "Sure. I was hoping someone would join me." That moment changed everything. It wasn't about grammar. It wasn't about vocabulary. It was about trying. From that day forward, she spoke a little more each day. And guess what? Now she leads meetings at her job. It started with one small step. So, before we move on to the practical strategies, I want to leave you with 3 important mindset shifts. Mindset shift 1. Mistakes equal learning. Every time you make a mistake, you're training your brain. Language isn't just memory, it's muscle, and muscles grow through repetition, not perfection. Mindset shift 2. Speak to connect, not to impress. You're not performing, you're communicating. Your goal is not to win a grammar award, it's to be understood and to understand others. Mindset shift 3. Replace self-doubt with self-support. Instead of saying, "My English is bad," try, "I'm learning and getting better every day." Instead of saying, "I can't speak," say, "I'm building my confidence step by step." Your internal dialogue shapes your external voice. All right, take a deep breath. That was a lot, wasn't it? But don't worry, we're just getting started. In the next part, I'll share 5 practical and simple techniques you can use every single day to start speaking more confidently, no matter where you are, whether it's a coffee shop, classroom, or conference room. Welcome back. I'm Emily, and you're listening to English in Ease. In the last part, we talked about something very real, your mindset. Because before you can speak English with confidence, you need to believe that confidence is possible for you. Now that we've planted those seeds, it's time to water them, with action. In this part, I'll guide you through 5 real-life techniques that you can use starting today to build your speaking confidence. And I promise you, these aren't complicated or overwhelming. In fact, they're so simple, you might be surprised at how powerful they really are. Let's begin. Technique 1. Practice speaking out loud. Even alone, you don't need a classroom. You don't need a partner. You don't even need an app. You just need your voice. Here's what I want you to do. Every morning, as you're brushing your teeth, making coffee, or getting ready, talk to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing. For example, I'm brushing my teeth. The water is cold. I have a busy day today. It might feel strange at first, but this kind of self-directed narration helps train both your brain and your mouth to think and speak in English. This technique improves your retrieval fluency, your ability to find the right words without overthinking. Over time, it becomes second nature. Technique 2. Use simple sentences. Many learners try to use long, complex sentences to sound more advanced. But here's a secret. Even native speakers use short, clear phrases in daily life. You don't have to say, "I would like to inquire about the availability of your menu items." You can simply say, "Can I see the menu?" Simplicity is clarity, and clarity builds confidence. When you simplify your speech, you reduce pressure, and that allows your natural rhythm and tone to develop. You also reduce your chances of getting stuck mid-sentence. Remember, speaking fluently isn't about using big words. It's about being understood. Technique 3. Focus on fluency, not grammar. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but Emily, grammar is important. And yes, it is. But not at the cost of fluency. Too many learners stop mid-sentence to check grammar rules in their minds. But what happens next? They freeze. They feel anxious. They stop speaking. Let's reframe this. Communication comes first. Corrections can come later. You don't need to be grammatically perfect to be a great speaker. In fact, trying to be perfect might be the very thing holding you back. When you focus on fluency, you train your brain to stay in flow. The grammar will improve naturally over time, especially if you're listening, reading, and speaking regularly. So allow yourself to speak through the mistakes. Let your thoughts flow. Confidence is born from movement, not hesitation. Technique 4. Use body language and expression. Speaking confidently isn't just about the words you say, it's about how you say them. Try this. Next time you speak English, stand or sit up straight. Smile. Use your hands. Make eye contact if you're speaking with someone face to face. Even if you're just practicing in the mirror, use gestures that feel natural to you. This technique works on 2 levels. First, your listener perceives you as more confident. But more importantly, you start to feel more confident. This is called embodied cognition, the idea that how we move and carry ourselves can influence how we feel. A relaxed posture and open gestures send a signal to your brain. I've got this. Try it. You'll feel the difference instantly. Technique 5. Slow down and breathe. This one is simple but powerful. When we're nervous, we tend to speak too fast. We rush. We trip over words. And our anxiety increases. So here's what I want you to do. Before you speak, breathe. A single deep breath can center you. It gives your brain oxygen and your body a second to relax. Then, speak slower than you think you need to. Slowing down does a few things. It gives your listener time to understand you. It gives you time to think clearly. And it gives your words more weight and authority. Speaking slowly doesn't make you sound unsure. It makes you sound clear and confident. Let's take a moment to review these 5 confidence-building techniques. Practice speaking out loud, even if you're alone. Use simple sentences. Don't aim for complexity, aim for clarity. Focus on fluency. Let go of grammar perfection during speech. Use body language. Smile, gesture, and move with intention. Slow down and breathe. Pace creates poise. Now you might be wondering, but Emily, how do I apply these in real situations, like at work, in public, or when I'm talking with a group of people? That's a fantastic question. Because confidence doesn't exist in isolation. It's something you carry with you into the world. So in the next part, we'll look at how to stay confident in different speaking situations, from casual conversations with strangers, to formal interviews, to group discussions where it's easy to feel invisible. But before we go there, I want to give you a small challenge. Choose one of the 5 techniques we talked about today. Just one. And try it in the next 24 hours. Whether that's talking to yourself in English while making dinner, or taking a deep breath before saying hello to a coworker. Take that first step. Because confidence doesn't grow from theory, it grows from action. All right, are you with me? And we'll dive into part 3, how to stay confident in real-life speaking situations. Welcome back. I'm Emily, and you're listening to English in Ease, where we turn your everyday English challenges into real-life success stories, one episode at a time. So far, we've explored what confidence really means, and I've shared 5 powerful techniques you can start using today. But now comes the real test. How do you stay confident when it matters most, in real-life conversations? You know the kind I'm talking about. The waiter is standing in front of you. You need to order something. Your coworker asks you a question in a meeting. Everyone turns to look. You're in a group conversation and people are speaking fast, laughing, jumping between topics. In these moments, your heart races, your thoughts scatter. Suddenly, all the English you thought you knew seems to vanish. That's normal. But you can train for these situations, just like an athlete trains for game day. So in this part, I'll walk you through 3 real-world speaking scenarios and show you exactly how to stay confident in each one. Situation 1. Speaking to strangers in public. Let's start simple. Ordering food, asking for directions, checking into a hotel, or talking to a cashier. You don't need long conversations here. You need clarity and calm. Here's your strategy. Use direct sentences. Keep it short and polite. Instead of, "Excuse me, I was wondering if you might be able to," just say, "Hi, can I ask you something?" Or, "Where is the bus stop?" Prepare go-to phrases. These are survival expressions that work in almost any public situation. Examples: Can I have? Where is the nearest? I'm looking for. Could you say that again, please? Don't panic if you don't understand. Just say, "Sorry. Could you repeat that more slowly?" When you have phrases ready, your brain doesn't have to think so hard. That reduces anxiety and gives you confidence. Remember, speaking in public is about function, not perfection. Situation 2. Group conversations. Now let's go deeper. Group conversations can be tough. People talk fast, interrupt, laugh at inside jokes, or switch topics quickly. Here's how to stay in the game, even if you're not the loudest voice in the room. Start by listening. Don't pressure yourself to speak right away. Focus on the flow. What are they talking about? What's the emotion? Who's leading? Use participation phrases. These are little phrases that let you join the conversation without needing to dominate it. That's true. I feel the same. I didn't know that. That's interesting. These keep you engaged while giving you time to think. Build from others. Repeat part of what someone else says, and then add your opinion. For example, I agree. Practicing every day really does help. That's a good point. I also think. This shows you're listening and lets you speak without pressure. Don't try to be perfect. Just be present. Confidence in groups is about being visible and engaged, not about talking the most. Situation 3. Formal speaking, job interviews or meetings. This one can feel the most intimidating. You're trying to sound professional, intelligent, and fluent, all at the same time. Let me tell you something. The most confident speakers aren't the ones with perfect English. They're the ones who prepare, pause, and stay calm. Here's how to do it. Prepare common questions in advance. If you're going to a job interview, practice these. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this job? What are your strengths? Write down your answers in simple English. Practice them out loud, not just in your head. Speak slower than usual. Nervous people speed up. Confident people slow down. This gives your brain time to think and your words more impact. Use confident posture and tone. Sit or stand straight. Make eye contact. Use pauses. These nonverbal cues communicate authority, even if your grammar isn't perfect. And remember, your message is more important than your mistakes. Let's take a breath and review these real-world strategies. For speaking in public, use short, polite phrases. Keep a few survival expressions ready. Ask for repetition if needed. For group conversations, start by listening. Use simple participation phrases. Repeat and build on others' comments. For formal settings, prepare key answers ahead of time. Speak slowly and clearly. Use strong posture and tone. Now, before we end, I want to talk about something even more important than techniques. It's the emotion behind it all. Nervousness. Dealing with nervousness. Everyone feels nervous. even fluent speakers, even native speakers. Nervousness doesn't mean you're not ready, it means you care. And that's actually a beautiful thing. But here's how we shift it. Reframe the fear. Instead of, what if I mess up? Ask, what if I do well? Instead of, I hope they don't laugh, ask, what if they listen and understand? Practice positive self-talk. The words you say to yourself matter. Before speaking, try. I've practiced this. I can do this. It's okay to be nervous. I'm growing. Visualize success. Close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking with calm, clarity, and confidence. This mental rehearsal trains your brain to expect success, not disaster. Confidence isn't something you find, it's something you build, moment by moment, word by word. Daily habits to grow confidence. Long term. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with 4 daily habits that turn speaking confidence from a wish into a reality. Talk to yourself in English. Every day, even for 5 minutes. Practice shadowing. Listen and repeat after native speakers. Read aloud. Train your mouth to feel the rhythm of English. Record yourself. Track your improvement and build self-awareness. These aren't complicated, but they are consistent. And consistency beats intensity every time. Let's take a moment to breathe in all we've covered. We started with the fears that hold us back. We explored 5 techniques to start speaking confidently. We tackled real-life speaking situations with practical strategies. And now, you have a daily path to keep growing. Let me say this again. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to speak anyway. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need a big vocabulary. You just need your voice, your effort, and your belief that communication matters more than perfection. So speak. Even if your voice shakes, speak. Because every time you do, you become more of the speaker you want to be. Thank you so much for joining me today on English in Ease. If today's episode helped you, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment or message me. What's the one thing holding back your speaking confidence right now? And remember, speak from where you are. Grow a little every day, and trust that your English voice is worth hearing. I'm Emily, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep speaking, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. Bye for now. Love.